uninvolved is on its own constantly. No grasping on its own. No grasping even for the non-grasping itself. This is the conclusion of Sunyata for samsara. Nirodha for samsara. There is not much. This is the conclusion that gives ending within no time. The blessed will not be in difficulties to try right or wrong at all. There is no need to go in that kind of difficulty. If the conclusion is ending, then everything will end accordingly. Otherwise, the ending will not be there. It will always top up on and on top of itself. Continue with everything uninvolved on its own. There is no need to talk about knowing or not knowing, mindfulness, concentration, contemplation in whatever ways, wisdom in whatever ways, contemplation in whatever ways. There is no need to form up Dhamma in the ways that is straying in this way and that way. This is self-purification within the made-up things. There is no need to make up Dhamma to try to dwell in. This is the made-up and terminologies that purify themselves. Is the promise within the conclusion of Nirodha Nibbana. Is the essence that is promised to help ending the knowing for samsara, cut through deluded knowing for samsara. This is the era of the promise with everything, and help with everything through the essence of the enlightenment. Ending and help through ending simultaneously for samsara within the terminologies. There is no difficulties as in the past. There is no need to discard anything. Discarding is on its own. There is no need to let go of anything. The letting go is on its own with everything. Non-attachment is on its own. There is no need to try to not attach to anything. This is the conclusion that purifies itself. Let's continue to purify the conclusion itself. Don't let it just be stuck in its own state of mind. This will purify the boredom or the desire or the urges. Don't let it become irritation, stuck in such a state. Continue to make a conclusion as a purification. The uninvolvement is on its own with everything. The Mahakaruna that is shared, then uninvolvement on its own is limitless. By this purification of the emptiness for samsara, because the boundlessness is the Mahasunyata, the great compassion in itself that purifies samsara. With everything, uninvolvement is on its own. With everything, non-attachment is on its own. With everything. There is no need to talk about knowing or not knowing. Let's bypass this. There is no need to talk about the aggregates, 4, 5, 1 aggregates. Let's enter the essence of the conclusion of Nirodha Nibbana right away. There is no need to talk about how to practice in whatever ways. This is the samudaya that is overlaying totally. Let's conclude through Nirodha Nibbana instead, right away. Use the reminders of the conclusion of Nirodha Nibbana instead. Let's use the conclusion within itself, with everything discarding is on its own, non-attachment on its own, with everything. Let's talk about this in this way, within the conclusion itself. It will affect in the purifying for samsara. There is no need to talk about something that is circling within itself. No matter who has how many aggregates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No need to talk about aggregates. Knowing or not knowing, seeing or not seeing, understanding or not understanding, having wisdom or not. This is the garbage of Tithi, garbage of opinions and meanings. We are talking about that which ends within itself, that has self-purification, that concludes within the conclusion itself. Then it will affect samsara to end accordingly, to conclude accordingly as well. There is no need to set up any questions at all. With everything, there is no need to be preoccupied with questioning or answering. Disengage even on its own with everything. There is no need to be preoccupied with questioning or answering anymore. In the way of ending within itself to help samsara towards ending. In the way of ending within the ending itself, with everything disengaged is on its own. Non-attachment on its own. In this way, the Tithi, opinions and meanings, will not go around and around. The knower will not go around and around. In the past, there is no realization with the conclusion for the knowing, because there is always the consciousness, the knower, that is circling in itself. It's so boring. It's impossible to discard itself. Actually, we cannot use the knower to conclude itself. We have to use the code of Nirodha Nibbana to conclude for the knowing or not knowing. Because samsara practicing the consciousness, the awareness, the knowing. Therefore, we need to talk about it again. What is said here is the code of Nirodha Nibbana. The essential code. This is the essence that is used to conclude for samsara towards ending at all times. There is no consideration to think of over the made up of body and mind, because it's already made up. Just have to conclude within itself, and then samsara is lightened up accordingly. Even you shifting to the high realms, but you still amidst samsara. Shifting and changing more often will become skillful with samsara. And then being genius in helping the ending for samsara will happen accordingly. Because if you are in the realms and not taking form as a human for a long time, it will be not skillful with samsara. Because by coming down often as a human, the skillful in helping ending for samsara will be there, be more genius in it. With all that would create the delay within samsara in whatever ways, there must be a refinement to help end promptly for samsara instead. Therefore, everything that is within this samsara, there must be a conclusion towards ending, a refinement for the blessing. Each time is a refinement. To come down to be a human is about the refinements within the conclusion for the samutai of samsara. Because it's impossible to reject any realms in the samsara. If there is a rejection for any certain realm of existence, it's impossible to bless such a realm of existence. Because we have to realize the factors which create such a realm of existence. What kind of the samutai, the cause of karma, cause of suffering that exists within such a realm of existence. Therefore, we have to diligently coming down to be born, to form up as humans, to help bless. Because our great blessed fortune is to help end for samsara. Just use the conclusion of the essence. Just use the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana thoroughly, as it will give ending to the obstacles within knowing, seeing, and the insights. It will reduce also the conflicts with samsara. We use ending as helping. Each sentence that is given is ending within itself and also helping through ending. With everything, non-attachment is on its own. No grasping, even for the non-grasping itself. These will be the reminders that gives ending and helping through ending all at once. It is the great compassion within itself. That's why all the great perfection, they have to diligently proceed the great compassion onwards within samsara. Diligently helping through ending for samsara. And then samsara who can end within themselves and can help end for samsara as well. That will be a great teamwork. And therefore, the power that is collective with this mighty force for helping ending for samsara will be there. It's impossible to wait for anything. Continue with the essence of non-attachment on its own. There is no need to divide hell or heaven because it's not about taking, whether it's heaven or hell. Anatta doesn't grasp itself. No grasping is on its own. It's not about grasping. Therefore, there is no need to divide anything. With everything is no grasping on its own. Non-attachment on its own, simultaneously. Let's conclude well, then it will be beyond the beyond itself. It will be beyond the beyond itself. There is no need to look for Nibbana anywhere. Nibbana is just a made-up language. Therefore, the form and the image that appear is just temporary made-up thing. Nothing is the true essence. No matter how happiness and comforts there are, just use the reminders to purify onwards constantly. There is no stopping to take on it, but use the reminders to continue with the purification. No grasping on its own will unlock everything. All the titti that is locking up, the limitations that is there will be unlocked. All that is limited from the past will be unlocked. No grasping is on its own. Non-attachment is on its own. Use the word everything simultaneously. This will purify everything simultaneously. The word everything is the inspiration of the great compassion totally. It indicates the mighty force of the blessing that is simultaneously proceeding. The knower is functioning because it's already made up, but it will be the ambassador to link with samsara. However, there will be the purification of the emptiness and the extinction. Therefore, the knower will not become a problem. Just continue with the conclusion as such. The knower is only the linker with samsara. That's all. The background of the knower is the conclusion to purify.